So you're getting your hands on the fancy new Nintendo Switch 2, or maybe you're still on the hunt to get one on launch day. Either way, you can be sure that the market is already flooding with Switch 2 accessories. And it's been a while. We haven't had a big console launch from Nintendo since 2017. The bad news is, there's a lot of accessories out there that are just going to be straight up garbage. They're just going to try to capitalize on this brand new console. But I've got a Switch 2 on pre-order, and I'm also heading to GameStop for the midnight launch. So that means that I've got some good news because I've got my picks for must-have day one Switch 2 accessories to share with you. You might be thinking, yeah, I know how to pick out a good accessory, but maybe this will point you to some other options. Or maybe you could use this as a checklist for accessories you should make sure you've got day one. Well, the first one is an easy but important one. You have to get a microSD card, but you can't just pull one out of your sock drawer. The Switch 2 requires a fancy new microSD card. It's called a microSD Express card, and the Switch 2 won't work with any other kinds. The microSD Express is honestly kind of pricey, but in a world of game key cards and a more and more digital future ahead, you are going to need the extra storage. And yes, you can totally choose to just not install all your games, but that was always such a huge benefit for the Switch for me. I always just kept every single one of my games installed on my Switch 1, and I plan to do the same thing for my Switch 2. Having all my games pre-installed made it great to bring along on trips. I always saw my Switch as the party console, the one that you can bring to an Airbnb with friends, knowing the system was already fully loaded with all of the multiplayer games anybody could possibly want to play. A 128GB microSD Express card goes for $54, and the 256GB goes for $68 from SanDisk. You can keep your eye out for Lexar too. They actually have up to 1TB available. But be careful, when you look at their Amazon listings, their microSD card types are all grouped together, so you could end up filtering onto the wrong microSD card type. I was lucky to be able to get an order in for the 512GB model from Lexar for $90, and it should be here before the Switch 2 launches, but just in case, I also got this SanDisk 128GB for now. It also looks like PNY is going to have microSD card Express options as well, so while we should see prices come down over time, I still think it's a must-have day one accessory. Also, be careful for prices that look too good to be true. There are a lot of fake microSD cards out there, and I'm sure Temu and AliExpress sellers are going to have a field day. They're just gonna print the word Express on their microSD cards and call it a day. But don't trust it. Buy from reputable sites, buy from reputable brands. Stick with SanDisk, Lexar, or even PNY, at least for now. I'll have links to actual trustworthy microSD Express cards in the description below. While I mostly play the Switch docked, that's not to say my Switch 2 won't be coming with me on the go. When I'm traveling, I often bring my Switch actually, and that was my main selling point for the Switch. If I'm going somewhere that I plan to dock Switch 2, I like to have a carrying case just to keep all of the Switch 2 gear together. For Switch 1, I have this carrying case for the dock, 2 controllers, and the Switch itself. And as much as I really liked the idea of it, it actually totally screwed up my Joy-Cons. It left these absolutely gross permanent stains on the shell. This time around, and this was actually just recently revealed by Nintendo, I'm picking up the official Switch 2 carrying bag. It's not the cheapest, it's $85, but after my bad experience with a third party, I'm not taking any risks with this one. It will be available directly through Nintendo after the Switch 2 launches, but you can order it on GameStop's website right now, and that's what I did. But I'm not always just carrying around my Switch 2 with the dock. When I'm on the go and just want to throw my Switch in a backpack or something, that's where the sponsor of today's video comes in. The tomtoc case for the Switch 2 is going to be a perfect fit. How do I know this before I even get my Switch 2? Well, that's because I already daily drive the tomtoc Switch OLED case. It's my go-to case because of its low profile, great design, and has a durable make. The inside of the case has a nice soft material, so you know your screen or any other part of your Switch won't get scuffed or scratched. There's also slots for 12 Switch cartridges, making it easy to take your games with you on the go without the hassle of lots of cases or other accessories. That actually isn't the only thing that tomtoc has ready for Switch 2. I've been a really big fan of tomtoc's sling bag, and this new sling bag is surely going to be my new favorite. It keeps a lot of the same concepts, a protected slot for your device that's going to fit the Switch 2 perfectly, a minimal design, and lots of pockets for storage. While this is designed with Switch 2 in mind, honestly, it's great for just an everyday carry, including times when you want to bring your Switch 2 with you on the go. It just makes quickly reaching for your console a breeze, and you don't have to worry about a case because the inside material will keep your Switch 2 protected. I actually trust the tomtoc bag so heavily, I carry it with me on trips, and I trust it enough to keep my passport in there too. But the reason I'm really excited for this sling bag is because you can wear it like a backpack or over your shoulder, and that's way more versatile for me. On top of that, I really like the gray colorway too. So yeah, thanks tomtoc for sponsoring this video and just paying me to talk about 2 accessories that I was already going to buy and already going to recommend. You can get 15% off using the code NEWGEAR15 and the link in the description below. You probably have a bunch of controllers lying around. You might even have OEM Nintendo branded Switch 1 controllers. The good news is that those controllers will continue to work on Switch 2. But the bad news is that not all of the controller features will work. Specifically, Wake from Sleep. That includes even Nintendo's OEM Pro controller. It's kind of a lame thing for Nintendo to gatekeep behind their new controller, but it just feels like such a necessity if you play your Switch docked. There is the new Switch 2 Pro controller from Nintendo that will support Wake from Sleep, and that is the controller that I decided to make sure I grab day one. It's pricey at $85, but I do like OEM controllers, so for the full home console experience, I think it's worth it. I hope that third-party controllers will eventually be able to support Wake from Sleep, but for now, Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller seems to be the only choice. This doesn't invalidate picking up some other third-party controllers though. If you maybe don't care as much about Wake from Sleep, or you're looking for some good controllers to have lying around for friends, honestly, I'm a big fan of the Absolute C6 controller. They sent it over to me to check it out, and I really like it a lot. It's durable, reliable, and has a long battery life. It's got Hall sensing analog sticks, and I specifically like that it's a no-frills design, easy to use and easy to pair. It's pretty cheap too, and I think it's a great controller to have lying around for friends. The last accessory I wanted to mention is a screen protector. And I'm not gonna lie or shill something here. I really don't like screen protectors. You can see that on my phone. No case, no screen protector. Just cracks and scratches though. But I did actually pick up a screen protector in anticipation of the Switch 2. I'm a little bit undecided to be honest if I'm even going to keep it, but I wanted to mention it because I think screen protectors, if that's something that you're into, is worth getting from a trustworthy brand. You don't want to just pick up the Five Below edition of a screen protector. You need to get one that's made of high quality material so you don't obscure this brand new HDR 120Hz screen. And that's why I recommend this brand, Spigen. This has been my go-to recommendation for screen protectors for other devices for quite a long time, and it's because their screen protectors are incredibly high quality. They're made of real glass, and that makes it easy to even forget that the screen protector is on your device to begin with. But the other big reason is because you don't have to sit there spending 30 minutes trying to figure out if everything is lined up. Their screen protector kit comes with a tool that gets your Switch and the screen protector perfectly lined up, and that makes the installation insanely easy. And that's it. And look, I'm not saying that you must get these things. I'm sure there's other great accessories out there, but these are the ones that I'm constantly recommending, and they're the ones that I picked up myself. I hope that I've either turned you onto a brand you may or may not have thought of before, or at least helped you make sure that you're all prepped and ready for your Switch 2 launch day. I'll hopefully be at some midnight launch of Switch 2, so make sure you're subscribed so you can catch my follow-up videos on the Switch 2. And thanks for watching. I just can't believe that we're just a few days from the Switch 2 being here. It's been so long. There's been so much buildup. I mean, remember we were talking about if the Switch 2 is even going to launch? And before that, we were talking about a Switch Pro, which ended up being the Switch OLED. We're so overdue. I just can't wait for Mario Kart. I'm psyched. So that's it. That's what I got. Thanks.